still have to finish above Liverpool and Manchester City. That is the truth, isn't it? We saw them play out the 1-1 draw the other day. Even with Van Dijk's injury, with Aguero's injury, David Silva's left, they've still got to finish above these two, haven't they?
They're still the best. They are still the best in regards to squads, their managers, and they will always be at the top of the list with pundits like us because of what they can achieve and what they have achieved. And yes, I do believe that anybody that wants to be top of the table will have to be beating these guys.
It's got to finish for both of them in all probability, won't they?
Yeah, they will, or they'll just have to have a season, which is unforgettable. I just think it's really difficult to beat these guys mentally as well. How do you go into a game against these and think, well, I've got to pit my wits against these two? You've really got no chance.
Especially when you go to Liverpool, we've not been beaten in over 3.5 years.
Sure.
At Anfield. That takes something special. Results this season can be a little bit crazy, but they don't seem to be happening at home at Anfield.
Yeah, but we had a conversation, didn't we, before we came in? We had a conversation about Leicester playing Liverpool, aren't they?
Yeah, this weekend.
At Anfield.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who do you fancy?
Leicester.
Well, let's have a look at the Liverpool. Let's have a look at the Liverpool injury list, and that might explain why the boys think that Leicester have got a real chance at Anfield this weekend. So we know Van Dijk out for the season. Gomez, we don't know, but most of the season. I think we can say that, can't we? Most of the season. Trent Alexander-Arnold, there was a calf, so
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Be a month,
okay. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.
Only because I've done it. I've done a calf.
Okay, Fabinho, muscle. How long's that?
Next week.
Next week.
Back next week.
Yes.
Yeah. Alcantara, knock.
Next week.
Knock is a great term.
I've had a knock. I played on.
Both of them will be back in a week's time.
Yeah. Andy Robertson, Salah's been diagnosed with COVID, so there's a bit of isolation there. Robertson's away with Scotland at the moment. Jordan Henderson had a tight muscle last night for England, so we hope that's not too long term. So we're now talking about centre half's the key area now, isn't it? Obviously, so you've got Matip. We're having a discussion off air again. Matip plus Fabinho when he's ready. Talk to us about what you were saying about Jordan Henderson before we came on air. That's really interesting. His potential.
Yeah, I think it's just his experience at playing centre half. I think you have to consider having someone like that in that situation because there's so many other players that they could play. Like there's a couple of young players as well.
So put your managerial hat on.
Yeah.
Liverpool hat on.
Yeah.
And you've got your choices are, bearing in mind you're playing against Jamie Vardy.
Yeah.
You've got Nat Phillips, who's not the quickest, but good in the air.
Yeah.
You've got Reece Williams, who hasn't played a Premier League game, but played against Atalanta. Very good player. So
who's got more pace than Phillips will have.
So they're two recognised centre-halves, if you like. Or do you take Jordan Henderson from midfield with his experience and know-how and all them appearances behind him and ask him to drop back?
Yeah.
To play alongside Matip.
Without a doubt, there's no question for me. Jordan has to go in there.
Yeah.
The thing about that, what happens then is Jamie Vardy knows that he's got the pace of Jordan Henderson, but the know-how of Jordan, his positional play. When I played centre-half as an old 35, 36-year-old for Norwich or for Villa, whoever it was, and I was playing against a player that was definitely quicker than me, I would put my centre-forward's head on. And I would think, well, where would I want the ball to go if I was him? And Jordan Henderson can do that. So he would just give himself 5 or 10 yards and he'll go where the ball's going to go before that player.
Because Vardy wants open space to run into, doesn't he? So Henderson just drops off a few yards.
What you do, you make sure that the game's in front of you. Have everything there. You don't want nothing behind you. Anything behind you that the goalkeeper has to get or your fullbacks have to get. It wouldn't surprise me if you played Jordan on the right-hand side and he played Milner. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Right, but yes.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Alexander-Arnold.
Only for that game.
Yeah.
Just to go, right, OK, let's just do this. Look after me, I'll look after you, that kind of thing.
It's the reps and the knowledge when you're a player and you've churned out all of those games and all the knowledge that you've got. And when you play in midfield, I've said this before, when you play in midfield and you go back one into being a centre-half, the game is so easy because all you're seeing is every single thing happen, as Dion said, right in front of you.
And a film you've seen lots of times before.
It is. It's a movie that you've seen. And look how many players, wherever you want to go, whether it be Mascherano, or you look at Javi Martinez, or you look at Fernandinho.
This is what Pep did a lot, didn't he?
And Fabinho. Doesn't matter where you go, you'll always see central midfield players that have played centre-half. You'll never, ever see, there might be one occasion, you'll never see a centre-half, or centre-halves, loads of them, playing centre-mid.
No.
It's too much hustle, it's too much bustle for them.
That's just for real people in there. Yeah.
I wasn't going to mention my performance against Fernando Torres for Luton Town against Liverpool, when he never got a kick. But Gerrard scored 3.
So Manchester City have had a weird start to the season. They've still got a game in hand. And, of course, Aguero's been injured for all the time. Jesus coming back into it. Let's have a look at some Manchester City stats and see really where they are in terms of goal scoring, which is way down. But when we saw the table earlier, I said if they won their game in hand, playing Tottenham this weekend, they're 3 off the top.
Yeah.
They have had a very slow start. They've had an inconsistent start. They had the Leicester being thumped at home. But I think you'd be a fool to say, oh, Man City have reached the end of this particular generation or whatever. I think there's some questions to ask.
I think the cycle has ended. You know, I think the cycle where we're on about Pep now. I think
dominance.
Well, that and some of the players when they, you know, Fernandinho hasn't probably got long left at Man City. Aguero's another. They lost David Silva, lost Leroy Sané. So the turnover of players. That's why I say the cycle, because there's a new cycle and there's a new fix of players coming in, but they're going to take a little bit of time. So when you look at everything that's going on, they don't strike me as the team that beat Watford 8-0. I don't see any 8-0s in Man City where quite regular in the Premier League, you went, got to be careful here, Brighton. Huddersfield have got to be careful. This could be 7, 8 or 9. Newcastle have got to be careful. That's why all these teams, when they played against Man City, all defended ridiculously deep. Because, Dion, you made the joke about one of your previous clubs when was it Cov? When Richard Shaw said, we'll settle for 2-0.
Yeah, when you were at Man U.
Psychologically, that's what these teams done against Man City, because you don't want to be embarrassed and get done double figures. I don't see that in their team anymore.
They are still one of the best teams to watch when they're on it, though. When they're all playing and they're all playing well. The problem is this man. When this man's firing and he's fit, goals aren't the problem. And I think now we have.
Does Jesus not convince you on a regular enough
No,
basis?
he convinces me.
He got a great goal the other day against
completely.
Liverpool.
He convinces me as a very good centre forward. He's a very good centre forward. He's not a world-beating, world-class centre forward, and he is.
He doesn't. Jesus won't be in the conversation as, you know, Lewandowski's.
No, he won't. He will.
He's different.
He will.
Yeah, but he will.
Because his attitude and the character and the work rate of him, Pep loves, and we would love that as well. But I think Jesus would probably love a goal scorer like Aguero alongside.
If he was to play, if Jesus was to play 2 or 3 seasons and got himself 20, 25 over the next 3 seasons every time, so 75 goals, 70 goals over 3, I would go, listen, fair play. You are now getting to where I expect you to be. People like Aguero and Kane and people like they don't talk about scoring goals. They just do it. It's just natural for them.
And they expect those numbers every single season.
Of course, because they expect of themselves to score as well, you know?
Let's have a look at the fixtures this weekend when the Premier League returns after the international break. And what's fascinating about this weekend is that the top 2 playing the big 2. So the top 2, obviously Leicester and Tottenham. So Saturday tea time, we've got Tottenham against Manchester City. And then, as you can see, Sunday, the late game is Liverpool against Leicester. So that is fantastic.
It's strange, isn't it? When you said that, the top 2, I went, Man United playing who?
Yeah.
Oh, it's West Brom. Oh, of course, they're not the top 2 anymore, are they?
Exactly.
They're way off it.
So that's going to be... those are the 2 games that leap out, of course. Absolutely brilliant.
I wonder if Liverpool now would take a point.
No chance.
No?
No chance.
At home against Leicester?
No chance. Just a point, no chance. I don't think Klopp wouldn't accept that.
What sort of chance? No chance.
No chance. No chance.
No, I'm with you.
Can I say very quickly, because people have been having a little pop on social media, which is absolutely fine, because we've all been talking about Liverpool's injuries. We did mention Leicester's injuries as well.
Yes.
So they've got their injuries as well. So not all about
we
Liverpool.
certainly,
Exactly.
And, you know, still soy on you to come back.
It's going to be a very good game, though. Going to be a very good game, that.
Smells of goals.
Yes. Lots of them. Lots of them. I think. See, you got the negativity of people in your ear saying 0-0. And we know there's going to be goals, and these people that have never played the game.
Here we go.
Never played the game, never gone over the white line at Anfield.
They don't know what it's like.
Don't know what it's like.
They're calling 0-0.
Say
You're calling 4-3s, and they're telling you 0-0s.
What do they know?
What about the Tottenham City game?
0-0.
That's going to be great as well. And as we've said it earlier, it doesn't really matter who's at home. That's actually pretty immaterial.
It's kind of gone out the window now, that sort of advantage. The only thing is, you know where things are at your home ground. That's about it. When you go over the white line, it's an absolute open book, really.
How would you call them now, the 2 games?
I would call them... I do think there's going to be an upset at Liverpool. So I think Leicester will get something.
Draw?
Yeah, I think Leicester will get something. And I fancy Spurs.
Same.
Fancy Tottenham, do you?
Yeah, fancy
there we
Spurs,
go.
yeah.
Got the old Barca Real reignited. Fantastic.
I just think Tottenham are in a better place.
Yeah, brilliant. It's going to be.